Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for staying with us at this very, very critical hour. I know in Indonesia we call it Waktu Indonesia bagian ngopi dulu ya harusnya ya. It's a coffee time at this hour. Like otherwise, how to make you staying focused. So again, very, very honored to be here along with the distinguished speakers. This afternoon, we'll be discussing the intersection of two things. One is the most talked about thing, right? AI, artificial intelligence. We even make a name in Indonesia, akal imitasi, just to keep the acronym as AI. And the other one is something that's very dear to my heart and hopefully to many more product people in the room, which is about user experience. And this AI thing really, really being most talked about, that does anyone do the math? How many sessions containing the word AI in this 2-day conference alone? Any guess? Any guess? 5 to 10 or 10 to 15 or? No? Let me tell you the number. It's 16. 16 sessions and we are the number 16. So we have a very tough job to keep this session, give them something new about AI. Okay, so we'll be discussing how to make AI an integral part of the user experience with this distinguished speaker who will be introducing themselves shortly. But before that, very quickly to introduce myself, my name is Aurora. 10 years ago, I was still a software engineer. I was based in Singapore, working with an investment bank. But if you remember how 2015 looked like, it was a talent war between Wall Street and Silicon Valley. So my friends were flocking from Wall Street to Silicon Valley, and I got this FOMO in me. But instead of ended up in Silicon Valley, I ended up in Sleepycon Valley. How many of you were part of Sleepycon Valley community? I see one at the front and at the back, see? So we were a bunch of tech companies in Indonesia who started the ecosystem. And in the past decade, I had the opportunity to actually scale up several tech companies in Indonesia, starting up one as well. And very recently, I'm now affiliated with Faculty of Computer Science, Universitas Indonesia, where I got the opportunity to introduce digital product management course for the first time to the students over there. I'm also affiliated with Epic Angels. We are a global angel investors collective. So for founders in the room, if you are raising funds, please check out our website and send your pitch. And for investors, if you want to co-invest, please again check out our website as well. It's Epic Angel Network. So without further ado, we'll go straight to the speakers. We'll just one by one, starting from Mas Irzan, to introduce yourself about the company, the products and services, and one thing, one AI use case that currently you are observing in your company or in the industry.
Sure. Thank you, Mbak Aurora. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Irzan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Kata.ai. Before I start, I'd like to ask which one of you coming from corporates or enterprise? Raise your hands. Corporates or enterprise? Okay, 1, 2. Okay, which one of you coming from startups? Raise your hands. Oh, majority are startups. What about the rest? One of you coming from, university students? Okay, never mind, but thanks for raising your hands. So yes, I've been building Kata.ai since 2015. So I'm quite lucky to taste the AI development before it's cool like today. We had the grind over a couple of years. So right now, Kata.ai, from initially building Indonesia's very first natural language processing model back in 2017-18, now we have expanded to become an omnipresent AI company. So we enhance customer experience, especially for enterprise businesses in key sectors such as financial services, telecommunication, government, retail, and many more. To date, we have 250 plus enterprise clients. We have exposure in Indonesia and Middle East. We're profitable, thankfully, and we have crossed 3 billion messages to date. And we've seen firsthand when it comes to AI powered customer service, in our case, we've seen customers manage to reduce their cost by 70% in the 3 to 6 months ahead of time. And now we are seeing a lot of like interesting use cases. In our case, enterprise adoption is at all-time high. So compared to the last 2 years, I think the demand for enterprise to adopt AI-powered solutions or embedded like LLM-powered applications or RAG, it grew by 3 to 4 times. So we moved from chat now to voice, and we have this avatar AI as well. So maybe it's better to show than tell. I want to showcase, and I want to call a friend of mine. Let's see if she picks up. It's a she.
Halo, selamat siang Mas Irzan. Gimana kabarnya hari ini? Ada yang bisa aku bantu, Mas?
Halo Katia, apa kabar? Udah makan siang belum?
Halo, baik banget. Thank you udah nanya. Hehe, aku belum makan siang nih. Lagi standby bantuin Mas Mbak. Kamu sendiri gimana? Udah makan belum? By the way, kalau butuh bantuan soal Kata.ai, mau bikin chatbot cepat pakai kata CX atau lagi explore automation untuk CS, WhatsApp, dan call center, bilang ya, aku siap bantu dari rekomendasi produk sampai
Oke,
step
Katia.
implementasi.
Katia, aku lagi speaking di TIACON Conference. Please say hi to the audience di sini.
Halo Thank you Asia Conference, senang banget bisa nyapa teman-teman semua di sini. Saya Katia, personal asistennya Irzan Tadisya, CEO Kata.ai, Indonesia's leading conversational AI company. Kata.ai.
Oke. Thank you Katia, have a nice day ya.
Makasih banyak. Have a nice day juga ya, kalau nanti.
Oke, please give applause to Katia.
Thank you, Mas Irzan. So seems the AI is trained on this half Indo, half English.
Jaksel AI.
Jaksel AI language, yeah? Okay, over to you, Johnson. Just share about yourself, your company, and the products and services.
Thank you, Aurora. And so happy to be here. This is my second time to come to Jakarta. My name is Johnson Chang. I am leading the credit tech of Better at Ant International. Personally, I started my career actually as a data analyst, data scientist, 16 years ago. I think throughout my career, I've been working for top national banks in the US and in China. And actually, I worked in fintech for 6 or 7 years as a startup. And then now I'm at Ant. I would say, and I've been always in retail banking, like lending, wealth management, and all these. I would say the technology changes kind of is fascinating. I remember I was writing like code in SQL, doing analysis like 16, 17 years ago, and now I am seeing like some junior colleagues can do like my 1 month of work in like hours. So I would say kind of the technology advancement and the use cases that we've seen in today's world kind of, I'm just so glad to be a part of this journey to see like how the efficiency and how everything has changed. So for Ant International, we are actually a Singapore-based company with main operations in Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and Latin Americas. And we focus on collaborating with both the private sector and the public sector in leveraging our unified fintech platform to help institutions and merchants of all sizes to drive their inclusive growth. And for Better and Credit Tech, it's a business pillar under Ant International, and we focus on promoting inclusive finance and better finance and provide solutions to enterprises for the aim to advance inclusive finance for both businesses and consumers. So again, so happy to be here. We have a lot of applicants in AI, mainly on credit tech solutions. So throughout the conversation today, I can share more use cases and stories across the globe. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Johnson. Over to you, Masibno.
Okay, hi everyone. So thank you for being here. I hope you guys are doing well, yeah? So my name is Ibnu. Currently I am serving as the senior PM at Rumah 123 or 99 Group Indonesia. So we are actually a property marketplace, the largest property marketplace in Indonesia. And also we are aiming to be the most trusted and also simplest property marketplace in Southeast Asia. So we aim to help the property seekers get their home easily and in a seamless way, starting from a house maybe, and also, for example, like commercials. So that's what we aim right now. So if I'm being asked about the use case of AI in these property technology sectors, maybe the simple example is that usually the property seekers have a certain budget or maybe a certain area preference. With just that kind of information, the system or the AI can actually help them easily get the listing and also as what they expect before. So I think it's like having a seamless experience to get the property searching experience. So that's kind of thing that we currently pursuing right now, Aurora.
Thank you all for sharing. So it's really a pleasure to have this panelist that is very diverse. I see, right? You come from different industry, prop tech, fintech. How to call your industry, sir? It's a platform, what platform? Omnipresent AI. It's like creating the vertical of its own. And the role also varies from product management to head of solutions all the way to founder CEO. So for you, Johnson, you oversee credit tech solutions at Ant. How do you see AI reshaping the lending business for financial institution and fintech platforms?
I think that's a great question. As I said, I've been in a bank before, and then I've been a startup before, and now I'm at Ant offering solutions to institutions. I think from my experience, customer doesn't want like fast AI-powered financial services. They don't care about it. So from my point of view, all they want is they want a seamless experience, they want tailored customer service, and they want, especially in credit and finance, they want it to be open to everybody, no matter how their credit history is. So with that, as serving credit tech at Ant International, one thing that strikes me the most is embedded finance actually unlock the full potential of alternative data. And that's what's driving the revolution for inclusive finance. And let me keep it simple. So if we tuck credit services into our daily scenario, which is embedded finance, it could be a checkout pages for gig workers trying to buy a gear, or it could be checkout pages for a small merchants trying to top up their inventory. And those data has never been used in traditional lending models. And with the power of those data, obviously with the consent and permission from the customers and following the privacy rules, we were able to leverage technology to drag or to pull out very useful insights from the data to offer access for responsible credit to the underserved. So with that, not only can we use the data like statically, the point on the spot data actually provide us access to do analysis dynamically. For example, we serve a lot of online SME merchants. We leverage the sales data, the behavioral data, and we leverage AI-powered modeling and layers of them to provide them dynamic credit line increase and decrease throughout the way that they are stocking up inventory for peak seasons, they're preparing for shipment, they are preparing for sales, and all those things are being done dynamically, powered by AI. So with that, I think we are not trying to, so it's not only about putting the credit services at where people need it. I think it's the embedded finance really provides a playground and infrastructure for alternative data to shine and for alternative data to take action. So if you think about the alternative data, it could be person to person, person to an SKU, SKU at at that time and then SKU at that location, we have counted the edges of the data. It could be over billions. So without AI-powered algorithms and solutions, it won't give us the potential to fully unlock the power of alternative data. So with that, I would say alternative data is being fully captured in the AI stages, where, like I said, 16 years ago, I was only doing like SQL coding and then doing basic analysis. And now, with the power of AI, we can leverage it to unlock the power of alternative data. And one last thing, I think it provides us to shift. It allows us to shift from offering credit solely based on like a risk-driven business towards like a customer-focused business. So the technology and everything allows us to do that.
Cool, thanks for sharing. So echoing what you said earlier, right? Like your job of doing it for 1 month of job now can actually be done by an intern maybe, merely in hours. And I think the same thing even applies for product managers, right? In the past, I remember some folks posting about the key takeaway from the other conference about product, where, okay, now product managers are challenged by the real problem solving, because the easy part, you can actually outsource it easily to AI, which means actually productivity is one thing and probably something that's very common, and hopefully most of you in the room already start using AI for your productivity in your respective company. But what you said earlier, very interesting, because it's beyond productivity, right? It's actually unlocking something new. You introduce alternative data as a secret ingredient of your offering, making it a competitive edge for your services. Okay, move on to Mas Irzan and Kata.ai. So this is one of, if not the earliest, AI company in Indonesia that secured the domain .ai. Back then, everyone was a .com company, and Kata.ai is the first to actually secure Kata.ai. What do you see, Mas, in terms of the trend? How has it been shifting throughout the era, before and after, especially the Gen AI era?
Right. I think we have been seeing a lot of shift for the past 3 years since the introduction of ChatGPT to the market. And everybody is talking to AI assistant every day, definitely from a user perspective. And from someone who's in the industry, I'm glad we are at this stage. Yes, hell, we do have like more competitors in the market now. However, market education is key and timing is never wrong, because by the end of the day, like the demands of businesses that like to transform themselves to become more profitable, to serve their customers better, this is no better time than today. However, when I see the overall trends of AI development, and it's so broad, we're not only talking about agentic AI, we're not only talking about AI for content production, generative AI, and now I think we are seeing the trends of physical AI towards robotics, for example. I don't think we have touched that industry yet in Indonesia, but what I can see is that there's always something new every day, something new every week. For me, myself, who've been in the AI space for the past, 8 years, it's kind of overwhelming, to be honest. But the key part is for us who are building things, leveraging a lot of like AI-powered technologies, is very key to move fast. Because by the end of the day, like your speed out of executions, of test and trial, trying out new models, trying out like this new product, platform, etc., is very key how you can adapt yourself in this business, in this era. But I think one more important thing that I also observe is that back in 2023, 2024, through the introductions of this LLM's API for inferencing, the earliest trends when it comes people utilize this API is to build a chat widget or chatbot inside their SaaS or application, etc. I think that's not the best way in leveraging AI. Like, you have to understand the customer, the user workflow, and embedded AI natively, and don't make your users things, by the way. So, because if you introduce like a new widget or something that break the workflow, it's just not logical enough, or it's cool, but where it's problem solving or not, something you have to ask yourself. One of my favorite like LM powered application implementation is like in Canva, because it feels so native, or in Figma. It feels so native that the user doesn't break their workflow, but it works behind. Yeah. And yeah, I think this AI revolution is going to change a lot of things. A lot of applications we are seeing come, quote unquote, their AI version. As we can see, like OpenAI is trying to fight head on for each product. You know, Atlas, Chrome, and then this Sora against TikTok or Instagram. Yeah, I think the only thing we have to adapt and ask ourselves like how we can serve our users, our customers better, and improve our overall time productivity.
Cool, thanks for sharing. Mas Ibnu, how about PropTech? How does recent AI development been influencing the landscape? Or particularly, how does it impact your product roadmap, really, with all these AI, new things in AI?
Well, I think first maybe we need to be aligned about how customers are actually seeing AI right now. So I might say that currently customers are not seeing AI as a feature anymore, but as an expectation. So the expectation moved from the excitement about the technology itself to demand more about, for example, like personalization and trustworthiness for the product itself. So right now I might say that there are three key shifts in the expectation itself. Yeah. So the first one will be previously there is a shift from generic to a context aware, meaning that the user expect AI to be able to understand your situation, to be able to understand your preference, including to be able to understand the goal that they want to pursue. Second is that there is a shift. There is a shift from a one interaction to the ongoing assistance, meaning that they expect AI to be able to remember the context, to be able to learn over the time, and also to be able to help them act proactively. So I think those two things will also impact how the product roadmap will be. Most importantly, I think regarding the transparency right now, I think that users are expecting to have a clarity about how AI can actually make decisions right now, and how can they help the users itself. So in regard to that, I think the users will have to get the control about how the data is being used for the AI itself. So how it impacts the roadmap currently, it focuses more on the personalization, and if it's really getting the users to be solve about the problem that they get right now. So I think it impacts the whole journey, especially about the transparency, trustworthiness, and also whether the AI can actually solve their problem. I think that's the point that I want to address, Aurora.
Yeah, so it's basically we still go with basics, going back to basics of solving
Yes.
customers' problem and see where the AI
Correct.
Opportunities could fit in
Yes.
solving those.
Correct.
Awesome. So we've discussed about industry being impacted by this recent development. Now, zooming in a bit to maybe client expectation. Johnson, you travel and meet institutions across the globe. What are you seeing in terms of client demand for AI-driven solutions?
Sure. Like I said in my first case, so AI is everywhere. So from a client's expectation or what I've seen across the globe, so I've traveled to 4 continents in the past like 3 months, and I've doing this on a routine. I'm seeing in a credit lending perspective, it's all over kind of the customer life cycle, starting from marketing creative to customer services, from credit decisioning to collection. It's everywhere. However, maybe the most adoption right now could be in customer services. And let me take an example. Maybe many of you think doing a loan application digitally could be simple, right? By putting your name, your phone number, your address, and doing KYC, and that's it. However, in reality, we found out a lot of applicants actually failed and struggled by only those fields. And let me take address, for example. Especially for companies who do business in multiple countries, the address format itself, by having a space, comma, the sequence, and things like that, could actually be dragging down the efficiency of credit assessment. So with kind of static field explanation or a help desk, those are kind of they have their limitation. And AI comes in. They can serve as a personalized agent or copilot to help the customers to go through the application along the way. And at Ant International, we are working on, so in some of the markets that we enter, we are working on having an AI copilot agent along the way through WhatsApp communication as a channel to help customer, no matter they are solving like the formatting issue on an address or covering any application hurdles or all the way through customer lifecycle experience. Those are kind of the thing that we would like to implement going forward. And last point, it is not about like the efficiency, only about the efficiency that you are gaining out from the solution. It is kind of the meeting the expectation of your customers being served seamlessly, personally, and inclusively. And AI comes in and make that expectation solvable. So with that, I believe my company, Ant International, is committed to drive seamlessness and inclusive services to credit services.
Especially when price war doesn't work anymore, yeah, then we go back to basics. Okay, Mas Irzan, across different verticals, I'm sure you serve different, industries, right? What do you see in terms of client demand? Is there something in common, or do they have specific demands in relation to AI?
Right. So what we've seen, our first proposition of implementing AI-powered customer engagement is leading towards cost saving at the beginning for Indonesian market. While it works on certain cases for customers at scale, so let's say the ones that have thousands of employees, they have like, let's say tens of hundreds of customer service agents, that makes sense. But the reality, like, not all businesses in Indonesia have that scale. Considering the minimum wages here in Indonesia is very low compared to the ones in the States, in Europe, in Japan, in other part of the world. But for the past 18 months, what we have observed is that there's a trend where customers are demanding how, by utilizing AI, could increase their revenue, how it could drive their sales and transactions. For example, we do have a customer that has been with us since 2018. At the beginning, we only served them for customer service chatbots on WhatsApp and other channels. And then in 2021, we saw interesting data. They do have a mobile application, but the adoption is very low. Later, we learned that most of their customer base is Gen X and baby boomers. App is not an answer. So we do have this WhatsApp that back at the time, simply for customer service. And we pitched them, how can we transform from a cost center to become a profit center, enabling like payments, investments, paying their bills, etc., utilizing WhatsApp. The first year, it picked up with 5 billion rupiah of transaction volume, but last year, we managed to handle like 100 billion transaction volume, just utilizing AI chatbot on WhatsApp. And banking on that proposition, we saw other customers in fintech and others build like AI agents for collection through WhatsApp, through voice, and this is something that the industry will appreciate the way I look at it, as opposed to cost saving, especially in Indonesia as a developing country. While in our case, when it comes to our customers in Middle East, they do have, let's say in UAE, 6 to 7 times higher when it comes to the GDP per capita. It makes sense to drive cost-saving use cases to them. And I think that's the trend that we've been seeing lately. And they're looking for more presence, not only chat, but also like voice, or even like adding an avatar like omnipresent AI in their outlets, banks, and many more opportunities.
Mas Ibnu, as I understand, Rumah 123 does have B2B as well as B2C clients, right?
Yeah.
Is there any, difference or trends in respective segment in terms of AI?
Not particularly. I think right now between B2C or B2B, I think B2C is directly with the property seekers and also property agents, for example. But B2B, on our case, with the property developer. But I don't see that there is any difference about the expectation among them, Aurora. So there is no specific expectation, yeah, among those things.
So as in, it's still about the excellence of depend on which side of the product,
Yeah.
on getting your listing listed easily,
Yes.
and get your listing being sold
Yes.
at the soonest. Understood. Okay, moving on. So there's this saying, don't fix what's not broken, right? So I think that's kind of creates hesitancy for product teams to actually innovate using AI. So my question is, Johnson, what's your suggestions for organizations who want to get involved in AI, knowing that there's, complexity around it?
Okay, that's a great question, and I can speak behalf of credit and lending, but maybe not other industry. So I think my core belief is AI is not replacing humans. We think AI is a great tool to enhance efficiency, getting standardization, and to empower institutions to serve their clients better. And let me give you guys an application, an example currently being applied at Ant International. So we have a scenario where we serve cross-border SME merchants to get financing. And the challenge is striking, right? When you think about a cross-border merchant, think of the materials that they have. They have unstandardized financial statements. They have corporate credentials from multiple countries. They have bank statements from different banks. They have transactional data from different e-commerce platforms. In the past, all these has to be sorted and reviewed manually for some key information for credit assessment. So, and AI comes in. So unlike OCR, AI is doing a much better job. So OCR heavily relates on templates. If the layout changes, it might fail. But with the power of AI, with the learning capability, it's capable to analyze and work with diverse templates or diverse document formats. So it drastically reduced kind of the manual side. However, we also found its limitation. So, and I think the industry called it like hallucination. So in our pilot stage and in our testing round, we found out 3 to 5% of the reports that AI processes, AI missed the term unit in thousands for all the data in that 3 to 5% reports. And it fails to do the conversion, and then it leads to bad recommendation or bad conclusion. And luckily that as us, we actually emphasize and suggest every corporation, institution that apply AI to actually put human supervision in critical processes. So we caught that. So it prevented for making bad decision at that, and then we train the models again. So with that, I think so that's for efficiency. And for the other part, in addition to efficiency, we leverage AI on standardization. So we ask AI to learn from the expert's experience. For some of the larger ticket size loan, we rely heavily on human expertise. So we ask AI to learn from experienced underwriters and to generate key focus points and reminders for two purposes. One, it kind of eliminates the fluctuations on the business process. And second, it helps junior underwriters to learn faster and make better decisions. So with that, that's kind of what I would like to share in the credit and lending business.
Cool, thank you for sharing. Mas Ibnu, how about in your team, right? Or maybe in the company in general, how did it start really when you introduced the AI product or AI feature, knowing that it's not exactly the same as the non-AI product development, right? So yeah, maybe tell us a bit more about how it started.
Well, I think the most important thing right now, maybe we can refer to one framework right now, Aurora. So for example, we have this framework called AI readiness versus value alignment. So there are three stages before we actually implement AI on our feature, for example. These three steps, first is that we need to make sure about the problem market fit. So we need to address the questions whether the problem is significant or persistent enough that the users wants the automation or for personalization, for example. If, let's say, the problem is actually a emotional or subjective problem, I don't think it's a good fit for AI to help. So I think it's more into the human touch approach. Yeah. So that's the first thing that we want to pursue. We need to understand about the problem market fit. The second one is that data readiness and also feasibility. We need to ensure and make sure that whether we have a sufficient data that can train the model. If it's not sufficient, I think it's a signal that it's not ready for us to implement AI. And the third one will be related to the value versus complexity. So we need to also address the question that whether AI is actually the most efficient way to support and deliver the value. In principle, I think, at least we believe that something that can be done with AI doesn't mean it should be done with AI. So we need to understand that first. And then we might also ask in the future, if let's say we implement this AI and then we remove the AI tomorrow, will the user notice or care about it? If no, then I think it's not worth the complexity. So we need to make sure that the value to effort ratio is not too low. So we need to ensure that three things in a way that we have a framework called AI readiness versus value alignment. So I think that's the first thing that we should focus. I think it's also not only on the property sectors, but it also works on every industry. I think that's the thing, Aurora.
Yeah, I think if you haven't noted it down, let me repeat the statement.
Yeah.
If even though just because it can be
something can be done with AI,
that
doesn't mean AI should doing it, right?
Yeah. So just because AI can solve it doesn't mean we have to use AI. So
sure.
Each company will have your own, framework to actually decide whether the cost versus the benefit of implementing certain AI makes sense.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
Thank you for that. Mas Irzan, you see companies in different stages, right? Maybe some of them are startups companies, some probably already more like enterprise grade companies. So what's your suggestion for both segments, like if they want to start adopting AI?
So I think I'll just give a general framework here, what we call as START. To start using AI, you need to use START. The first S is see opportunities. So you have to do the ground homework here, like what is the current bottleneck of the process that you have internally? What are the opportunities, let's say, if you utilize a bit of AI-powered application or tools, it could improve your profitability, customer experience, and whatnots. Or maybe you can learn from other customer case study across the globe and see how it fits your needs, your company, so your organization can be like 4 to 10 steps ahead against your competitors. Then move to the T. T means test and trial. One thing that is currently being demanded by businesses, especially when it comes to AI agents, agentic AI-powered application, is observability or AI evals. So how can you measure that, one, the AI is working against on the business case? Let's say you build a pilot for something, you need to understand like what's the cost, what's the current process to solve one problem. Now, by utilizing AI, how much will it impact on the ROI side? And other metrics you have to measure, like the hallucination, for example, the ground truthfulness. So observability is very, very key here because it drives customers' trust and result. So we have see opportunities, test and trial. Then we have adapt and learn. In this case, just like the build, measure, learn framework, you start early, you start fast. You will see like how users, customers behave on your AI-powered applications and adapt along the way. Then we move to the R, which is refine with data. Because data is messy across organization. So one resides in one personal computer, one in Google Sheets, for example, one in Tableau, and one, we don't know where it is. So it's very key like, to have a roadmap of the data integration towards your AI-powered applications, so it can enhance, let's say, the accuracy. It can enhance the quality of the personalizations and recommendation. So refine with data. Once you have that cycle, you have the last T, which is transform at scale. So bring that small pilot success or multiple small pilots and how you start planning ahead, implementing this across your organization. And one thing I'd like to tell you, AI transformation is not about technology. It's about culture. 70% culture because it affects the whole top-down to the bottom rank of organizations, awareness, knowing the challenges, the policy, then you pick the right technology to solve your problem.
Very cool. Start, see opportunities, test and trial, adapt and learn, refine with data, and then transform at scale. It actually can be applied to general product development as well, but with a huge emphasis, I would say, in the test and trial part, because whenever we release certain models, right, there's no guarantee your initial timeline will work and whether it's going to meet certain measure of success of your model. So definitely tests as well as the refine with data part. Thanks for that. We are running out of time, so we'll just go straight to the very last question. After all the AI features being deployed, of course, it's becoming something new for the customers, right? So what will be the best way, Johnson, in your opinion, to communicate the change to the customers?
Okay, I think my point of view, first of all, I would like to second a lot of opinion that's shared with the panelists. We didn't talk before, so a lot of the comments and things like AI is not about technology, it's not only about cost savings, bring value to the business, to the customer. I think everything is, we share the same thing, even though we are in same and different industries. I would like to comment on that. And in terms of my perspective on communication to customers, I think it's all about communicating what they need and what's their prioritization instead of the technology itself. I think we are over the hype of the technology already. We are getting down to kind of applications. So in lending for consumer, I think what they need is not the technology. What they need is how the technology can benefit them. From a faster approval, from a higher inclusion, to a smoother application, to more personalized experience. Those are the things that customers want. And they don't care what's the technology under the hood, actually, to be honest. So what we do is to keep it simple and communicate the value to the customer, to the consumer and the SMEs. And for institutions, I think it's even more straightforward. We kind of take into the actual business and customer value to them. We leverage POC stages to compare critical metrics like conversion rate, customer satisfaction, collection rate, ROI, and those hard data will actually move the needle for institutions to adopt AI. So last but not least, like I said earlier, by applying AI, we strongly recommend having manual supervision in critical processes. If something happens, we can quickly react and protect the business and customer value.
Cool. Mas Ibnu or Mas Irzan, any final thoughts on our session?
I'm quite agree with what Johnson said before. Yeah, I think when it comes to the communication to the user about the AI, I think we can focus on the how of communication itself, because the how of communication itself might determine whether it is empowering or intrusive for the customer itself. Let's say we can lead with the why rather than just the tech itself. as Johnson said earlier, I agree with that, which customer is actually don't really care about whether it is an AI or not. What they really care is actually whether that can resolve their problem. So our message should focus on the outcomes. Yeah, again, I repeat. So our message should focus on the outcomes. So we can frame it with the benefit first rather than just an AI first. So that's my 50 cents. And lastly, I think since it goes back to the initial thought, yeah, when the user or the customer now are thinking or seeing AI is not as a feature anymore, but as expectation. So our focus as a product especially, we should move from the what AI can do to what customer actually needed to do. So it enhance or it augments the user journey and the user experience rather than just to overwhelm it. So I think that's the most important thing which we believe at least the focus is to resolve the client's problem. So that's the thing from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Final thoughts, Mas Irzan.
Yeah, in our case, serving to enterprise business, reliability is very, very key. So it's very important to communicate clearly why you do this and then how it would impact their current operations. And as much as you can, don't break stuff. And read all the legal papers because it will affect a lot of things, what you build and what you deliver to them. So building products for B2B enterprise is kind of different to consumer, which we can do like rapid iteration, rapid changes and innovation, but you just have to be very careful on the data privacy, the trust of customers, the confidentiality, how you utilize the data, and then inform to be transparent to their users that, let's say you launch an AI agent, AI chatbots, communicate that this is an AI-powered application, virtual assistant, and there's some degree of TNC they have to follow on, so etc. So yeah, enterprise is very, very tricky. You have to be very, very careful. That's my point.
Thank you. So to wrap it up, thank you again for staying with us. If you haven't started your AI journey, please do start with START, right? The START framework from Mas Irzan. Start with the seeing opportunities. Just keep building, and I hope you're not playing catch up anymore because everybody's already doing efficiency part. Everybody's doing the productivity part. Definitely, if you haven't done that part, do that first, and hopefully you can start using AI as an integral part of your user experience and using it as your next competitive edge. With that, thank you again for the panelists. Happy to share the stage with you, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you all.